Hi there and happy Friday. Today, I am going to be talking to you about the next couple chapters, sort of. I'm going to be giving you a summary for chapter 27, which picks up where we left off yesterday. And then I'm going to talk to you about the first half of 28, and then I'm going to have you finish chapter 28 on your own. You're going to read the last like 9 or 10 pages. A lot of stuff happens, right? So we will get right to it. Let me just pull up the summary for 27 here, right? All right, so chapter 27, we just left off where Jem was sort of upset. He said, don't talk to me about the trial. Scout, again, just sort of confused because she doesn't really know what her older brother's going through, stuff like that. So chapter 27 then, after the trial in Maycomb, Bob Ewell sort of enjoyed a little brief moment of celebrity status in Maycomb. People were talking about him, and it wasn't always in a negative way, which was usually how he was talked about. He even got a job at one point. He used sort of his newfound fame to get a job, which he lost right away because he didn't show up for work because he was, doing his normal Bob Ewell stuff, going out in the kind of the country, the swamp area, and drinking. He blames Atticus, though. He says that Atticus got him fired. He can't take that blame himself. And so he's sort of like a little bit upset that this trial didn't put him in the good graces of everyone in Maycomb. Like for a moment, they're like, oh, Bob Ewell. And then he went back to being sort of the Ewells, So he's sort of mad about that. He thought this would maybe be his chance to become more than what he is. Judge Taylor, the judge from the trial, had a brief scare at his house. Someone actually tried to break into his house. Luckily, Judge Taylor was home and scared the person away. And then when his wife got home later that night, he was still sitting in his chair in his study, reading a book with a shotgun across his lap. So he didn't let it bother him too much. Helen Robinson, which is Tom Robinson's widow, she was getting verbally harassed by Bob Ewell, saying nasty things to her, directly to her and sort of under his breath. He would even follow her when she was on her way to work. Then her boss, Mr. Link Dees, ends up putting a stop to this. He walks with Helen to Bob Ewell's basically like the property line and just threatens him, because he's basically calling his bluff. He's like, you're a bully, right? And a lot of bullies are cowards, right? So if you do anything, if you come close to this girl, you're going to have to deal with me. And it works because Bob does end up leaving her alone because he is sort of a coward. So Bob's recent actions concern Anna Alexandra. She's seen the way he acted towards Helen Robinson. Just the way he's behaving in town is a little bit different. She thinks that he still holds a grudge against everyone who opposed him during the trial, even though he won. So he is like the sorest of sore winners, right? He still is mad at the judge would actually, that they even took as long as they did. They took 3 hours to deliberate, which normally in a trial like this, it would have been like open and shut, right? So he sort of kind of has these grudges against a lot of different people. And Atticus would be one of those people, right? So that fall then, the school ends up deciding to hold a carnival-like night. So there's going to be games and carnival stuff like that, and also a play of sorts that is going to be put on. It's going to highlight Maycomb County, like all the different products that Maycomb County produces and stuff like that. Scout will get to play a ham, yes, like a big ham that you might find in the deli section of the grocery store. So that's what she gets to play because they have a big ham industry. They're doing this in part because they don't want kids to get in trouble on Halloween night. So it's something that's a distraction. Atticus and Aunt Alexandra both decide they're going to skip the carnival. It doesn't really seem like something that either one of them would enjoy. So Jem volunteers to take Scout by himself. So he volunteers to walk her there and walk her home and stuff like that. But then he's going to kind of go off and do his own thing. So this begins then what at the end of chapter 27, Scout calls their longest journey together. And it kind of leaves us on that cliffhanger, right? So that takes us to chapter 28. Chapter 28, so they describe the setting of this night. It's warm, but windy, so kind of warm, windy night, which we can relate to, but it's also moonless, so that it's pitch black out, right? They can't see anything. So Scout and Jem are walking from their house to the high school, and Jem's actually carrying Scout's ham costume. Again, Jem is being, a very helpful brother here in this situation. The kids joke about haints, which no longer seems scary now that they're so grown up. Remember, those were the things they talked about hot steams earlier in the book too, kind of superstitions basically, but they don't really actually fear them. As they pass through a field, someone leaps out at them with a light, so it scares them, right? It's Cecil Jacobs, but now he gets to brag about how he's scared his classmate Scout and her older brother Jem. So it's a big get for him. So they all head over to the auditorium, and Scout wriggles into her slightly mashed ham costume because, you know, when it's not a great they made it at home. It's basically like paper mache, and so when Jem was carrying it, it got kind of a little deformed, but still looks like a ham. She ends up kind of crawling up because it's warm in there. It's warm in the auditorium. So she curls up into the ham costume, and then she ends up falling asleep. So she misses her cue. So when Miss Merriweather is calling out ham, she doesn't come out, and you know, it is what it is. But then later when she does wake up and they've moved on, then she comes out later and like the audience laughs, but Miss Merriweather's a little upset. So she scolds her a little bit, makes her feel bad, but Jem consoles her. So Scout is still embarrassed though that she missed her cue, and so she doesn't want to face anyone. So she keeps her ham costume on for anonymity, which, you know, if everyone saw the ham walk on late and you keep the ham costume on, people are going to know who you are. But she doesn't want them to know that it's Scout Finch, even though it's a small town. I'm guessing people know. So they end up leaving the school to go back the way they came, through that midnight black field. So that really dark field, like it talks about a moonless night, stuff like that. So they're heading on their own way. So at this point, that's where I'm going to leave off with the summary. So you'll finish for Tuesday. You're going to finish this chapter starting from this point near the bottom of page 347. It says, we went through the auditorium to the hallway, then down the steps. So if you're looking at the book, it's right at the bottom here. Of this version of the book. If you have the purple book, which none of you have said that you have, so I'm assuming you all with this, but it's right there, and it goes to page 357. Like I said, a lot of stuff happens here though, right? So this is kind of one of those chapters that, like, trust me, there's stuff going on, and it's very big, kind of moving forward, right? And then we're only going to have 3 chapters to finish next week. So that is your assignment, and then also respond to the prompt. Make sure you're updating that big idea tracker. You know, that way you're set to either do your paragraph responses or to do the one-pager, depending on whichever one you decide to do. All right. Otherwise, take care. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and I'll talk to you real soon.